Admit you love me, and so how
Ad accendere.
to know you always tell me.
Prendetela.
Non serve fare scenate.
Serve davvero. Vorrei sottolineare che sto facendo tutto questo con i tacchi.
Come ti chiami?
Cruella.
Hi, Nadia. Nice to meet you. First
Hi,
of all.
nice to meet you too.
So I think Cruella is the most iconic Disney character when it comes to hair and makeup, for sure. I wanted to ask you, how did you start from the cartoon character we all know to create the one that we see in the movie?
I definitely watched all of it again and watched the Glenn Close version. But I think the beauty of this is because we're an origin story, I could start at the beginning. So the Cruella that we all know, that's who she becomes. So as long as I kept in mind that I needed to believe that she could become that person, it was kind of open and free reign for me to kind of do what I wanted from the beginning, because as we go through the movie, she's creating Cruella, and essentially I thought, well, that's what I was doing too. So I didn't feel kind of restricted. I felt inspired by what we already knew, but not restricted in terms of what I could do.
Voglio combinare i guai. Ci stai?
Io i guai li amo. Quella orrida.
Un lato di te è un po' estremo. Sì, tesoro. Ed è divertente.
Ha rubato i miei cani.
Something that I really loved about the movie is that the hair and makeup really evolve with the character and really help to shape and emphasize like the transformation from Estella to Cruella. And I wanted to ask you, which is how did you work on that transformation? Which is the main difference between the two characters? It's the same character, but it really feels like different characters.
Do you know, I think it probably was that I was getting braver as we were going along. And actually that's what's happening with Estella creating Cruella. She's getting braver, she's getting more confidence. And that's kind of what was happening to me. You know, as soon as we created the first Cruella look, and I knew how great Emma was wearing it and how good it was, it just then kept inspiring me to, and I think that's just kind of mimicking the story really. And because I kept Estella's look very basic and stripped back, and it was only done with a couple of products, it meant that I had room to make a big jump. So when you see Cruella, it's a huge change, you know. So and then I think makeup in this was giving Cruella, making her bold and brave, and doing the same for me.
That's really interesting.
Lascia che ti dia un consiglio. Non puoi avere a cuore nessun altro. Chiunque altro è un ostacolo. Hai a cuore ciò che prova un ostacolo, sei morta. Se avessi avuto a cuore qualcuno, sarei morta. Tu hai il talento, ma hai l'istinto omicida, questo è il dilemma.
We have Cruella, who is, of course, punky, bold, messy also. And on the other hand, we have the Baroness, who is completely opposite, because she's flawless all the time, even when she is the most evil that she ever be. So I wanted to ask you how did you work on this character to really separate these two enemies in such a really visual way?
Well, I think there's such a similarity in the Baroness and the Cruella that we know in terms of Glenn Close, and you know that who Cruella becomes, in that it's a perfected version of themselves. So the Baroness, you feel like she's been working on that look for years, and so she's perfected her look now, and it's a variation on a theme which is very sculpted and sophisticated and chic, and her references would be much more 1950s, whereas Cruella is in the heart of 1970s punk London. So what they're seeing on the streets, what their references are, their fashion, their music is very different. So although you've got two really strong leading ladies, it allows you to be completely different with their looks. And that was so much fun to have them so different in look, but equally as big as each other.
And lastly, if you can give like one tip or like one small tip to all the girls that after watching the movie will like take a little bit of Cruella in their own lives, what they can do for makeup, maybe, because hair is really difficult to
yeah, maybe don't dye your hair black and white. But do you know what? I think it's about, what I really, really hope is that after the time we've all been through, where we've been at home and not really wearing much makeup, and now we're coming back out into the world, that maybe it will inspire people to be kind of braver. I think makeup's been very same for a long time, and maybe be a bit bolder with your choices, go for the red lipstick, it's pretty easy to sort of start with that basic Cruella look. It's get yourself a black eyeliner and, really smudge that out and get yourself a killer lip and just be brave with your choices, I think.
It inspired me to wear red lips today. So,
well, it looks really good with your hair as well, so that's good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Credo che lei debba odiarla. L'ha reso un me o lei? E io scelgo me.
Don't tell me. Don't tell me.
Calma, ci sono tante altre cose brutte in arrivo.
Perhaps